Thank you, Mr. Luigi Gambardella, for taking this interview with us. You're the president of China EU. Could you tell us a little bit more about your organization and the work you're focused on right now?
Yes, first of all, thanks a lot for this opportunity. We are promoting business project between European and Chinese companies with a characteristic of with a strong link with innovation.
Between China and EU right now, the business climate is very complex. Given there are many elections in Europe this year, the Chinese economy is also in very sensitive waters right now. So what are you seeing based in Brussels about the general business climate between China and the EU? What are some of the most pressing issues that you are seeing?
But for sure there are today many challenges and important issues and delicate one. But what business don't like is uncertainty. And obviously today we see a lot of uncertainty. Nobody knows what will happen. And business, as I said, doesn't like uncertainty.
Talking about uncertainties, there's a lot of talk about trade frictions, potentially even a trade war between China and EU over electric vehicles. It seems to be one of the most pressing issues right now. Could you tell us a little bit more about the situation there right now and what your observations are on this matter?
Again, this is a very delicate matter which involves different interests, and then always we have to take into account also the impact for consumer, for the European consumer. I think that also even in this such difficult matter situation, we have to find a way to turn into an opportunity. For example, I would like to mention the recent cases of investment of Chinese electric car companies in Europe and their decision to start the production in Europe. I think this is a very clever move, and this may help to facilitate a new wave of cooperation. According also to several newspapers, as far as we know, there is also a current discussion with Italy, with the Italian government, which would like very much to welcome Chinese car producers to produce in Italy. You know, Italy has a long history and knowledge that can leverage in the car manufacturing industry. And I think such kind of approach is the right one, and I hope that this kind of agreement can go through, because this would change the level of discussion.
I'm very curious, actually. As you mentioned, Italy has a very long tradition of manufacturing some of the world's best automobiles. What about Italian consumers, their attitudes towards Chinese electric vehicles or electric vehicles to be manufactured in Europe, but with investment from China? How are the consumers reacting to this new option?
Well, for sure, all consumers are the same. What consumer wants is very easy. Wants a very good product, good quality, choice, and low price. And it's clear that Chinese EV electric car can give answer to this request of the consumer, and that's the reason why there are concerned that Chinese cars can be very successful. No? But at the same time, there are also some more general concern regarding the fact that we need to keep a certain level of work and production also in Europe. And for this reason, I was saying before that to try to find a new way to cooperate would be good, because we could have a win-win cooperation. allowing Chinese company to sell their car in Europe, but at the same time keep the production in Europe.
Other than EV, e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce seems to be another issue that is quickly gaining controversy between China and the EU. So big companies like Shein, Temu, TikTok, what could potentially be the solution?
There are many different interests which we should take into account. On one hand, the European consumer, as any consumer, wants choice, quality, low price, and in many cases Chinese companies through also this platform are able to provide such kind of products. On the other hand, there are two areas where we have to work together and are very important, I think. First of all, the consumer protection. What happens if I buy something from a company that I don't know who they are, where they are producing, and what happens if I'm not happy, if I would like to be reimbursed. So let's say around the issue of consumer protection, I think there is a common interest of everybody to find a solution and to be sure that the European consumer has a certain level of protection as he enjoys in Europe. On the other hand, there is a general sentiment to worry that as we, for the production that is done in Europe, we respect certain kind of standard and we follow certain kind of rules.
So in the last couple of years, China has unilaterally opened its borders to travelers, tourists from many countries, including Italy. Could you tell us about the reception of this visa-free travel policy from Italian people as well as in the European market in general?
I think this has been a very good decision. As far as I know, in the first 3 months of the year, I think there has been an increase of number of tourists of 190%, so it's a big increase. And I think that this is the right way, and I encourage very much China to do two things. First of all, to extend to all the European countries the visa-free, and secondly, to transform this trial experiment, which is for a certain period so far, in a permanent in a permanent way to keep this visa-free forever. And why is it important? Because it's all about people, right? Business is about people, policy is about people, it's all about people. And I'm convinced, we are convinced, that the tourism, it's a fantastic tool, because it's a tool of communication, it's a tool which allows people to understand better each other. There are many people who speak about China, they've never been in China, they don't know China. By the way, to understand China is super difficult, so for a foreigner. But we see that when people visit China, and then when they come back, they change completely their view on the country. And this can be also a tool to encourage, which could have as an impact, as an effect, more business, more communication, more opportunities, more networking, and it's really fantastic. And what we have seen always an imbalance. Meanwhile, we have many Chinese tourists visiting Europe. We have very few European tourists visiting China. So we see a big potentiality. It's a big market, and in fact, we are working on a project in order to see how we can encourage more Europeans to visit China and to know many beautiful cities and many beautiful places that there are in this country.
For Chinese tourist destinations, what do you think are the most effective, most promising way of promoting themselves in the European market?
B2B and B2C. And these both are important. B2B is the segment to connect with tour operators and agencies. Many Europeans that today travel to China, they travel with a tour operator, up to 80%. So many European tourists, when they travel to China, they use a tour operator. And obviously invest in the relation with this tour operator to prepare packages, to prepare offer is very important, because then they will bring the tourists. And the same is training for the agencies. If you want to sell something, you should know what you are selling, and therefore you should organize visit, you should organize a workshop, you should encourage also them to know better China. And then because the world has changed and the marketing has changed, it's very important, the digital marketing. So how you do through influencer or social media channels, creating the video, creating the information, and as I said, I believe that there are enormous opportunities. The point is that many cities are not well known in Europe, or only few people know.
You were also working on some other events about innovation, especially business and digital innovation, bringing ideas into China. Could you tell us more about these events and these projects?
Yes, so we have a very interesting project that we would like to, as you said, do in China and in Shenzhen, because there is China and then there is Shenzhen, the city of innovation, of technology. And basically this project is, we believe that it's very innovative. So the idea is to create a new concept, which is mobile shops. Shops that you will call with your mobile, with an app, and or thanks to big data and accessibility to data, the vehicle can move where people are. Right. And at the beginning, the project, we would like to focus on some area which are protected, limited area, like parks, like university campus, like airport, train station, shopping mall, or where there are big events. There are many people at the same time, a concert, sport events, whatever. And also we would like to bring together European brands. And for the moment we have a very important, interesting case. User case will be the first. It's done with a Chinese and Italian company, and is in the coffee. Italian is very famous for coffee. Right. And we are experiment this new project, as I said, and so it will be easier for everybody to call with the app and to get the vehicle and to buy the coffee, cappuccino, and then the vehicle can stay there or can continue to move.
Right.
So mobility, we believe that cities, thanks to the technology changes, which will bring us after 5G to 6G technology to an expansion of IoT system. We will see more and more in the city mobile unmanned vehicle which will circulate. In the near future we may have the mobile dentist, yes. Mobile pharmacy. So many shops that today are fixed, they may become mobile. And around this concept we are working.
Right. How about the regulatory reception in China? Obviously, this could bring up a lot of regulatory, legal, business administration issues. What about the process of working on these innovations with local regulators?
We are really impressed by, first of all, openness of the local government,
Right.
the interest to bring innovation and to be the first to do something.
Right.
If I hope we will do these mobile shops in Shenzhen first, Shenzhen will be the first city in the world which will have mobile shops. And this brings the city an advantage, right? So therefore, we see that all the different the authorities, they cooperate in order to help to see how we can solve the problem, what can be done in order to overcome obstacles.
Right.
And we see that there is much more openness for new things. Meanwhile, unfortunately in Europe this is more difficult because, for example, we don't have yet regulation for unmanned vehicle,
Right.
and will be more difficult to introduce mobile shops in Europe today.
Talking about innovation, obviously AI is a key area of innovation for any country in the world right now. In this particular area, do you see opportunities for more business cooperation between Chinese and European companies?
The concept of AI is very broad. Okay, it's super broad. And things are, as always happen, they come together. For example, humanoid robots.
Humanoid robots.
Okay. Generative AI, ChatGPT in Europe, together with humanoid robot, give a different level of potentiality.
Absolutely.
As we said, Europe has some strength. Because when the people say, no, Europe, it's not, Europe has strength.
Of course.
Europe is Europe, okay? So despite the difficulties, despite the challenge we have in front, Europe remains one of the richest and most advanced region in the world. Okay, this is a fact. And we have a very strong vertical industry. So therefore, we see a very interesting opportunity of cooperation. For example, there is one which is super interesting and is developed here in Shenzhen by a company which we believe will succeed and will become more and more visible and important, is Ubitech. And they are already working on introduction of humanoid robotics for the construction of electric cars.
Electric cars.
And these robots, they can do some tasks, some specific tasks, and replace workers only in some specific task.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So these kind of projects are super interesting. There we see a good opportunity of cooperation between European and Chinese company. Build such kind of factory with humanoid robot also in Europe, exchange experience. This would be super important because this will give also more efficiency, increase productivity, and in order to give the best possible quality product at the lowest price.
So thank you so much, Mr. Gambardella, for this interview. I hope your visit to Shenzhen and the rest of China this time is very fruitful and it can bring about more opportunities for digital innovation cooperation between China and European companies.
Thank you very much. Every occasion to discuss, to enhance the cooperation is good.